Hello students, welcome back, and today we are going to learn question number 3. Okay, so question number 3, let's see. Okay, show a car moving forward to a road before the road goes over a hill. Okay, so this is a road go over the hill, so the car slow down and then speed up. State the speed of the car when it's traveling on the road level. So of course it's at here, road level, so we can see it's at here, so it will be so it will be around, so it's stated here after the hill, so after the hill will be around here, so it will be at here is 9. Now my pen got problems, it's shaking already. Why this thing happened? Using a figure to calculate the acceleration, so what is the formula? Acceleration equals to change in speed divided by time, 1 Mach. Then you get 2.33. So the answer actually you should put 2.33. Okay, not because in science and physics, I think maths you can put 7/3, is it? Yeah, for maths you can put 7/3, but usually for science it will be science, physics, chemistry, or what, usually is in decimal point, usually in 2 decimal point. Okay, but you are good because at least you do some insurance, you put at here, so the examiner know that you really understand. Okay, but it's best to put the answer in decimal point with two decimal point. Okay, you can put 1 or 2 lah, but I prefer to put 2 lah. Okay, so you and the unit you get correct, so you get 3 points. Now my pen is shaking due to I don't know, the driver issue Wacom always, I don't know why sometimes it happen. Use figure 3.2 to calculate the distance traveled by the car between the start of the hill and the stop and the top of the hill at 4.5 seconds. So for this one you need to get the calculate the distance traveled. You need to get the distance equivalent to the space, I mean the space under the graph, correct or not? The whole space, because speed times time you get the distance, this whole thing. So of course the student did okay, he used a trapezium formula, which I think it will be easier if you use a trapezium formula. 1/2 plus a plus b times h, so 1/2 a plus b, 5.5 times 10, you can get this 5.5 times 10 is here, and times 1.5 the height. Oh sorry, so it's over here, 3 to 4.5, so you get the 10 plus this one 5.5 plus the height 1.5. okay, so you get this formula, then you get 11.625, correct? Okay, 3 decimal point, very good. So the formula and the working you get 1 mark, and then the answer you get 1 mark, so you get 2 mark. Figure 3.3 show a horizontal force acting on the car along moving a level road in a constant speed. So this car move in a constant speed. Name the force Q. Okay, so force Q will be air resistance. Okay, air resistance, or drag also can, drag or friction. There's a few answer. Yeah. State the magnitude of force Q compared to the magnitude in force P. So at the constant speed, the driving force is 500 Newton. Show the magnitude of force Q compared to the magnitude of force P. Give a reason. So the students say that magnitude of force P is more than Q, therefore the car move forward. So this is incorrect. Wrong. Actually, the magnitude of force P and the behind is the same. Why? We need to look at the question, because we need to read the question to know that whether the car is actually accelerating or at a constant speed or stop or deceleration. So we need to look at the question. So let's read the question again. Figure 3.3 show a horizontal forces acting on the car moving along a level road at constant speed. So if we are talking about constant speed, so the magnitude of P and Q is the same. The reason is, if we are saying P is more than Q, it means that P, the car will be accelerating, because let's say the friction behind is 500 Newton, but the force that you give to it is 510, so the car will be accelerating. But since you say it's constant, the question says constant, so 500 Newton to the front oops, where is my pen? Wait, 500 Newton to the front also means 500 Newton to the back. Okay, because it's at the constant speed. Because if you say it's 510, the car will be accelerating, but the car is not accelerating. But of course, you say, maybe you will think that why I give, but I'm putting the petrol, I'm using the petrol. Why is it the car don't accelerate? Because the more petrol that you are pressing is actually the energy you use to overcome the friction or the drag of 500 Newton. So you are using the energy to overcome the friction, but you can use more than the energy. For example, let's say you use 550 Newton energy, then the car will be accelerating because you are putting more energy. But there is a certain energy that we need to put in order to overcome the friction. Okay, so give a reason, show the magnetic field comparator. So the first point will be, you will say that both of the magnitude is equal. Wait, I need to type because my mouse is not really, my pen is really not working. So let me just type it now. Okay, so the first point I will say that both the magnitude is equal, and we add more, and in opposite direction. Okay, both magnitude is equal and in opposite direction. Since what? Since it is at constant speed, or you can say because it has constant speed, or you can say because it's the magnitude is the same, you will say there is no resultant force. Up to you lah. Either you can say that maybe it is constant speed, or you can say that there is no resultant force. Why there's no resultant force? Because 500 Newton to the front, 500 Newton at the back of the direction. So basically, there is no resultant force, so the car is not accelerating. I mean, it's the same thing lah. Depends on how you want to say it lah. But it carries the different meaning lah. Different meaning, because when you say constant speed, is referring to constant speed. You say no resultant force due to the magnitude of the car that is plus minus, then you get no magnitude at all. And not no magnitude, but no resultant force, not no magnitude. Okay, calculate the work done by the car. Work equals to force times distance. Very good. Usually F they put capital letter lah, F times D F they put capital letter. The reason is when you put F the small letter, it more like frequency frequency times D. But I think the examiner will still give you correct lah. 15,000 you get it correct, so you get 2 points for this one. Yeah, I cannot use my pen already, just can use my mouse. This window, this one bad. Figure 4.1 show part of the forest web of food web. So this is a web, not a chain. A chain is just a one way, and we can see there are few food chain. Then it will become a food web. You need to identify one producer. The producer will be the plant. One herbivore will be the slug, and 1 tertiary consumer. So what does it mean by tertiary consumer? The secondary, primary, secondary. So for example, we can see that tertiary will be the plant will be the producer, let's say. I cannot use my pen, it's very difficult. Try still use lah. Producer, okay, and then the slug will be the primary consumer, and this one will be secondary consumer. My pen got problem, it's not my handwriting like that, so but it's shaking, but what to do? Later only I can fix it. This one will be tertiary. So 1 tertiary consumer will be the Fox, not the H dot. So this one is incorrect. It will be the Fox. So you get 2 marks. So base lah, because this one you get it wrong. Define the term of trophic level. When energy pass from one level to the another, or trophic level is the position of organism in a food web. Okay, so just wait, just let me type it in. Okay, the position of organism in a food chain or food web. Okay, so the first trophic level will be the producer, second trophic level, third trophic level, and fourth trophic level. So sometimes students confuse. Trophic level, like I thought the first trophic level, some students will say is a slug, but the first trophic level is actually green plant, because we say here primary ma. So actually don't confuse lah when the question say trophic level and or primary consumer. So maybe I got this picture just very fast. We can have a look at this picture. So we can see that first trophic level is producer, second trophic level primary consumer, third trophic level secondary consumer, fourth trophic level, and after that is the predator decomposer. Okay, so yep, and delete this one, so later I don't need to look at this back. Figure 4.1 to describe how energy from the green plant reaches the fox. Okay, after the fox eat the green plant which has energy, then are eaten by the H dog, which is the food for the fox. 2-mark question. How to say? This one is more like sometimes as an examiner, when we mark the question, we will reach a point that where we call it a gray area, because we don't know when to give point or what. Describe how energy from green plant reaches the fox. Okay, let's look at the question. How energy from green plant reaches the fox? Like the question asks how the energy. Yeah, so the question asks about energy. So the good answer will be the plant pass its energy to the slug when the slug eat the plant. Then the H dog eat the slug and the fox eat the H dog. So the energy is passed from the plant to the slug to the H dog and then to the fox. Because we are answering it in terms of energy rather than who eat who, but it's correct lah, who eat who, because when we are talking about eating it, we are telling that the energy is passed on, but we just need to explain, okay, more like the energy is passed on to the fox. Okay, so this one is still full mark lah, Figure 4.2 show the percentage goal in the atmosphere inside a forest. Carbon dioxide 0.04. It used to be 0.03 during my time when I was 10 years ago. But now most textbooks will say it's 0.04, showing the increase of carbon dioxide in the world, because the book update, my new book will say 0. I don't know lah, whether maybe new more new book later will put 0.05. Hopefully this won't go on because it will our next generation will suffer lah. I mean I will live happily lah, but the next generation will suffer the flood, suffer the or whatever thing that should they should suffer.
So you shouldn't waste so much paper, Mr. Billy.
The paper can recycle.
No.
I'm just one person, other people do one.
If everyone thinks like you, then there'll be a lot of people wasting it, okay?
Yeah,
Never underestimate the power of one person.
I like to waste people, I don't know why. Explain how cutting, maybe I'm not paying for it. Explain how cutting down and burning the forest will affect the concentration of carbon dioxide. You just need to explain how cutting down, the first one, and burning of forest. I think both of these is the same talking about reducing the trees, thus reducing the photosynthesis, thus increasing the carbon dioxide. So let's see here got 3 marks. The first mark go to concentration of carbon dioxide increase. Let me see. Increase the concentration of carbon dioxide. This one you get 1 mark. The second mark is carbon dioxide is produced by burning fire. Cutting down tree, burning fire will increase the light. Carbon dioxide is produced by burning forests. Is it here? Because they are photosynthetic. I think this one is here Burning of forests will increase the carbon dioxide. It's still the same thing for the second mark. And the third mark is less carbon dioxide removed by photosynthesis. So the word photosynthesis must be there in order to get this 1 point. So 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, you get 3 point. 3 point. But this photosynthesis spell wrong is it? Photosynthesize.
No, you read the whole sentence.
Yeah lah, photosynthesize, S-I-Z-E. I mean the
Because no trees are left to photosynthesis.
No, wait, let me show you. So this is the correct spelling, photosynthesis. So
but then the question, the way I write it is like because no trees are left to photosynthesize.
Oh, it's a verb. It's a verb. Oh yeah. Yep. This is correct. Okay, because it's the student put a word to, so it's followed by a verb. So it's correct, not spelling error. Yeah. So you get 3 marks for this one. Let's move on. Number 10, iron is extracted from hematite. Hematite contains ferrous oxide. Tick one box that for Fe2O3. So the answer will be so this will be the answer. Okay, iron 3 oxide. Where's my red pen? Okay, this one. Okay, iron 3 oxide. So this one you just remember it's also commonly appear in the textbook. Okay, iron 3 oxide for usually for hematite or for the iron that is rusted. Rusting iron. So we also say iron 3 oxide. The 3 equation below show reaction what happened in the blast furnace. So there's no picture, but we know that there is an extraction of metal from the iron oxide, because iron oxide is just a stone. We cannot use the stone to build the house. We want the real iron in order to make the house. So what we do is we take carbon and mix with oxygen to produce a lot of carbon dioxide. The reason they use carbon because carbon is easily available and is very cheap. Okay, you can get the carbon from coal. Okay, and then you produce carbon dioxide. Then you add some more carbon. You get carbon monoxide. Then you get then equation number 3 you just burn it, ferrum oxide with carbon monoxide, and you will get ferrum, I mean the iron, and the carbon dioxide. So after that we get the molten iron. State which equations show combustion, means the burning. So it will be equation number 1. Okay, question 1, so this is correct. State one of the reaction produce toxic gas, name the toxic gas. So one of the toxic gas is carbon monoxide. Yeah, so carbon monoxide is toxic. The reason is carbon monoxide is readily to mix with your blood, and so instead of oxyhemoglobin, it will become carboxyhemoglobin. So eventually you won't have enough oxygen and you cannot smell it. So then you will die lah, and then that's why people die in the car, because they sit in the car for too long. But they die in the car not because of carbon monoxide, they die in the car because of carbon dioxide, because they sit inside the air they breathe out, they breathe in back, then they got too much carbon dioxide, and then they got lack of oxygen, then they die without themselves knowing. But this one is worse lah. Carbon monoxide is more worse than carbon dioxide, but both is toxic actually. That's why we want to reduce the carbon dioxide from our planet, not too much of carbon dioxide. Complete the sentence below. The substance that oxidizes is equation. So for this one, I think is good. We can draw this one. I think it's better that you just draw this one. This one, so this one Fe, I draw arrow Fe, and then maybe I can draw the O to here, for example. Okay, so for this one, okay, let us understand this question first, so that it's easier for us to do. Okay, so the reason I erase this one, because if you still remember, there's a few definition for oxidation and reduction. Up to the student, see where you want to comfortable for you to remember. So this one you need to remember. Just make it smaller a bit. Okay, so this one you need to remember. In the terms that the easiest way to remember is oxidation means gain oxygen, and reduction means lost oxygen. So ferrum is gaining oxygen. Ferrum is losing oxygen. I mean iron. Iron is losing oxygen. So this one will be, I see I got pen to use or not. I try to write here. This one will be reduction. And let me draw the arrow first. This one, because this one actually gain oxygen, correct or not? The carbon actually gain oxygen. So this one is actually, when you say you are gaining oxygen, is oxidation. So I just put here oxidation. Wait lah, where's my pen? Oxidation. Oxidation. Up to the student whether how you want to remember this, but I tend to remember that when we are talking about ionic bond, basically they are charges. So I would say it will be either positive 2 or positive 3. It doesn't really matter, but I know it's positive because it's ionic bond, and then from here it is not ionic, so basically there's a 0 charges. The reason I remember like this, I think it's much easier because we also can use the same thing for electrolysis, because sometimes electrolysis, they ask what is being reduced. Why? Yeah, the losing and gaining of electron. The reason I remember like this because it's easier for me to do the question regarding electrolysis, so that I know that positive 2 to 0, it means actually it is okay, so it is losing electron. Because you know lah, then they'll ask you to write out the half equation if, but seldom they ask, but they ask. So I will say it's positive to negative. So there is the decrease in oxidation number. I like to remember like this is easy. I like to remember definition number 4, which is also very easy. Means that it's gaining the electron. Decrease in the oxidation number mean it is gaining electron. Yeah, correct. Gaining electron, because sometimes you know electrolysis question that will ask what happened to, let's say, magnesium. So I would say magnesium will be undergo a reduction process, and then it will ask it will gain electron, for example. The question will say something like, I forget how the question will ask, gaining or losing electron. But I know that you need to write the answer lah, gain electron. Okay, so I understand this thing already. Okay, so this one is gaining oxygen. So probably this one is oxidation. This one is and CO2 plus C.
Mr. Billy, you still have 10 minutes left, eh?
Yeah. So complete the sentence below. The substance that is oxidized in equation number 1 is carbon. Okay. So the reason we say carbon, because carbon is gaining oxidation. Oxidized, gaining oxygen. But not to be confused with oxidation agent. Oxidation agent means the other thing, okay? So not to be confused with oxidation agent or reducing agent. The substance that is being reduced in equation 2 is carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide. So this one I put that. Carbon dioxide. Where is my pen? Carbon dioxide. Okay, why we say the substance that is being reduced is carbon dioxide? Okay, of course you can say that there is a decrease in oxidation number, but if I'm to draw out this line, wait, I'm looking for my red pen. If I'm to draw out this line, I will write here as reduction. I will write this as reduction. The reason is, of course, I see CO2 becomes CO2, but if you see properly, CO2 becomes CO. Actually, it means it is losing oxygen. Actually, in the beginning you got 2 oxygen. Now you only got 1 oxygen. So actually you are losing oxygen. That's why I say it is undergo a reduction. Of course, the carbon will under oxidation because the carbon is gaining oxygen. So this one is this one you must remember lah. Yeah, many times students forget. I also sometimes I forget, but this one exam cannot forget. They will always ask. So just remember. I think these two is the most common thing to remember. Okay, either gain or lose oxygen, or you remember in the. I like to remember definition number 4 lah. It helped me in the electrolysis chapter. Okay, decrease in oxidation number means gaining electron. Yeah, gaining electron. Okay, the substance in this is oxidized. Equation number 3. So is being oxidized will be the carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon. Carbon monoxide, and the substance that is reduced is iron oxide. Okay, but this one is the whole thing lah, not the one word on it, correct or not? Because this one you should say carbon carbon monoxide. And this one is supposed to be iron oxide. The whole thing. Correct or not? Yeah, because there's the whole thing that actually losing oxygen. This is the whole thing that actually gaining oxygen. Rather than this one. Okay, also it's the whole thing. If not, if we only say the small thing on it. Okay. Okay. So this one the student will get how many marks? So this one you will get 1 mark. Okay, 1 mark. The metal listed can also be extracted from their ores: aluminium, copper, magnesium, sodium, and zinc. I think the easiest to extract is supposed to be copper, right? Because copper is less reactive. But yeah, but copper is not cheap. Copper is expensive. Identify 2 metals from the list which can be extracted by heating their ores with carbon. So the answer will be, okay, so it's copper, zinc, and copper, correct? Okay, because carbon is less reactive than the carbon. Identify a metal that cannot be extracted by heating the carbon. So you can say either one. Maybe you want to say sodium or aluminium or copper, or whatever that is above carbon in the series of electrochemical series of reactivity of what's the word again? Okay, explanation. Carbon is less reactive than
Sorry, should be sodium.
Sodium.
Sorry. Carbon is less reactive than sodium.
Carbon is less reactive than sodium. Yeah.
I wrote wrongly.
So this one you get no
Wrong.
Yeah lah, because you write carbon carbon is less reactive than carbon.
That's not what I meant.
I know, but don't worry. Now I give you low mark, so next time you can get a higher mark. State the method used to extract the metal neem into electrolysis. Let me check. Is there any spelling error? No spelling error. If you got spelling error, means you are wrong. Okay. So yep.
Spelling error is also wrong.
Yeah, especially for answer that is single answer. Means when the question asks you, they straight away give you a single answer like photosynthesis, electrolysis, reduction, oxidation, and you spell oxidation wrongly, so you won't get any mark. But if a sentence, then maybe the examiner will give you mark. Okay, number 6. Maybe this is the last question that we do. Let's do number 6. Figure 6.1 show a gas cylinder is nearly empty. Describe the arrangement, pressure, and motion of molecule in the gas inside the cylinder. So it is mostly want to empty already. Is it? Yeah. It's nearly empty, so we can assume that inside is gas. If not, inside will be liquid, correct or not? That's why all the people that cook, they like to shake. If you can hear the water sound, then we know that it is still inside, still got the gas. But if you shake also, you didn't hear any water sound, probably the gas is nearly empty. Describe the arrangement, pressure of molecule inside the gas in the cylinder. So if a gas, we can say that if far apart, it will get 1 point. Moving rapidly, it will get 1 point. And colliding with one another, this one also correct. So but and then only 2 marks so you just get 2 marks. Okay. More gas is put into the cylinder by pump. Yeah. Of course, they check this thing before they refill it because sometimes I always see that they always recycle. Will they explode or not? So it won't. Usually you also don't hear this thing explode in your country, right? I don't know, Malaysia is still using this. I think UK they are using part, is it? I'm not sure, but yeah, Malaysia should. But usually it don't explode because before they refill, they actually check the weight, because this thing actually rusts. So you want to check the weight to make sure that the weight is still good for it to contain the thing and the expiry date. Last time got a news that say, oh, expired already, we need to check the date, but before they fill in, actually they check the weight and the expiry date. More gas is put into the cylinder by a pump. As the pump is firing, the pressure inside the cylinder increase. Describe the change that takes place in the separation of molecule. Is more concentrated and collision between particle increase. The answer is the molecule will move closer apart, will move closer, but closer or not far is apart. But this one I think I will give correct because it says concentrated, showing that the molecule actually move closer apart. Wait, let me read the question again. Describe the change that take place in the separation in the molecule. Oh yeah, this one I will still give correct but the answer is actually the molecule is closer apart. Why? Because let's read the question again. Describe the change take place in the separation. So the question is asking, tell me about the physical change in terms of the separation of molecule. So we say the molecule is moving closer apart because the question, so we just answer according to the question. When the gas is pumped into the cylinder, work is done on the gas pumped in. Wait. When gas is pumped into the cylinder, work is done on the gas pumped in. Work is done because you want to push it in. You're going to push the gas in. This increases the kinetic energy of the molecule. Yes. Predict the change. This increase in kinetic energy causes to the gas cylinder. Wait, let me say. Predict another change, the increase of energy. So another increase will be the increase of temperature. So this one also is not correct. Because another change is increase of temperature. So where's my pen?
So if kinetic energy increase, then the temperature will increase.
Yep. Alright. Increase in temperature. That's why you pump your bicycle or the pump also that increase in temperature due to increase of kinetic energy due to the collision between the particle increase as well. But predict another change in kinetic energy caused by the gas cylinder. Collision between, but of course this is correct The reason you get increased temperature because collision between particle is increased. But I just follow the marking scheme don't blame me Okay. As the gas is pumped in, the gas emits a sound wave. What is this? I would say that it has the same frequency because everything is the same, and also it has a high amplitude, the same amplitude. So it's like maybe I think the sound wave and it's the same frequency and same amplitude. Show in the clearly the amplitude and elaborate A. So the amplitude will be this one. And then this one is correct. 1 point, you get 1 point. The frequency of the wave is 400 Hz. Calculate the wavelength of the sound wave. So frequency is 400. What is the V equals to F lambda? V equals to F lambda. So so V is the wavelength. There is a correct formula and you get 0.825 meter. So this one you get correct. So the formula and the working you get 1 point, the real answer get 1 point. But of course we are talking about combined science paper, usually they give you the unit. When we are doing physics or maybe coordinated science, they usually like to trick students to write out this is what I noticed combined science they always give the unit, so lesser thing to worry, and also lesser thing to convert. Usually they also give you the SI unit, because when I teach physics or combined science, usually there's a trick of asking you to change the unit or what's the unit. A student hear the sound. Describe how the sound is transmitted through air from the pump to the student ear. You may wish to draw a diagram as part of your answer. Correct or not? When we hear something, it actually means what? It means the sound is vibrating in the air. Correct or not? Because how transmitted in the air? So the sound is vibrating in the air, so I can hear it. But when I go to space, I cannot hear it because there is no medium for the sound to travel, and the sound is vibrating by rarefaction and compression. So maybe this is just too much, so I just I think I will just write it down. No need to draw, but you can draw if you want to. Wait, I think just write down. I'm lazy to draw. Describe how sound is transmitted through the air. So that I would say that okay, the sound travel through vibration in the air through rarefaction and compression. Okay. If I can draw it out, it will be something like this. Okay, like this. Yeah, it's so difficult to draw. Then here got a lot, then here got little bit. I mean nice lah, nicely lah, not like I draw. Okay, here got a lot. So there is a compression in the air and rarefaction. So this part is the air that is being compressed. Yeah. So like that. And there's one mark, and one more mark you can say that in reference to the in the reference to where the air pressure, the air that is being compressed is have the molecule is I would say that the molecule is nearer apart. No, but the distance of so maybe that's why they ask you to draw lah, because it's very difficult to say about compression and rarefaction. So what we can do is we just label this thing out. Okay, label this thing out, and we just write here the whole part here is rarefaction. And the whole part here is compression. Yeah. So the drawing already explained how the sound travel, okay, through compression and rarefaction. Okay, so I think this one I teach it in the next video. So I see you again. Thank you and